Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today is a quick one. It's going to be a quick video because I wanted to share with you how I have been faking a fluffier, thicker brow. Now, if you're anything like I was in the late 90s and the early 2000s, if you too are a victim of over tweezing, this video is for you, okay? And even if you're not, let's say you just have thin brows to begin with, this video is also for you. Let's say you have very light brows that you can't really see. You know, you have the brow hair, but it's just very fine, very light. This video is also for you, okay? So let's get into it. I only use 2 products and I've gotten to the point where it literally takes me no more than 5 minutes. Brows for me, especially back in like the 2010s, like mid 2010s, they would take me like 15 minutes. That was around like the Anastasia Beverly Hills craze when she first started launching products like brow products, and everybody was, you know, going in with the pomade. What was it? I think it was a pomade, yes? The brow pomade, and they were very sculpted, very thick, but now we've kind of, you know, gone out of that era, and now it's more about just letting your natural brows kind of shine through, kind of like with everything else. I feel like we go like the pendulum always swings like from one extreme to the other, right? So we were like full coverage carved brows, and now we're like very light coverage, minimal, everyday type stuff, and very fluffy, very flattering, very natural looking brows. So let me show you how I achieve that. Let me bring you guys in close so that you can see what it's going to look like versus what it typically looks like without anything. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that I grab always is some sort of a brow gel. I like to use a brow gel that is tinted because that is not only going to get my brow hairs in the direction that I need them to go to for them to stay in place all day and look fluffier, but it also adds to the volume. It just makes my brows look or appear fuller than they otherwise would. So as you can see, I have some sparse areas like all throughout the bottom of my brow. My brow hairs are not that long, but they're also not that short. But I'm working with 2 things against me. I over tweezed, and my brow hairs are just naturally a bit lighter than, you know, everywhere else. And so the way that we fix that is by using one of these 2 products. I love these 2 very much. If you're trying to go with something that's a little bit less expensive, you're gonna go with the NYX, the brow glue. I, of course, use the shade dark brown. And if you want something that's more like a creamy, it ends up not being so stiff like the brow glue does, but it more so is kind of more waxy and creamy. Just like this says, you're gonna go with the Lawless Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax, and I use the shade medium dark. So I always start off with the brow wax. Anastasia also came out with like a pot that acts like a wax, but it's not tinted. I have that, I love that, but because it's not tinted, I just don't reach for it as often as I do my Lawless brow wax. Okay, so we're just gonna start off by going in the opposite direction of the hair growth here on our brow. And this is just going to help distribute the product more evenly throughout, and it adds to the thickness, the fullness of the brow. Once I've gone ahead and went against the brow and deposited all of the product onto the brow, this is where I go in and I am just going to brush my brow hairs upward. Especially here along the front of the brow, those go straight up, and the rest kind of start to follow the direction of the hair growth on my brows. Just like that. So you see already we are getting a fluffier effect with just the 1 product, and it took us no more than 30 seconds. Yeah, just like that. Next, this has been a game changer for me. I absolutely love the NYX brow pen. It's this one, the Lift and Snatch NYX brow pen. I really, really like it. However, The only reason why I've been reaching for a different brow pen lately is because this is it's good when you're not going to use the brow gel, or you're not going to use a tinted cream or tinted wax or anything else. It's good for just, fluffing them up and adding some volume, because of the deposit is so intense. Like the way that this glides on the skin, it leaves a very intense deposit. If I can ever open this. This is so hard to open too. Oh my gosh, I just put lotion on my hands. Okay, great, got it. There it is. So this pen, although it's great and it's very inexpensive, it also doesn't leave the brow hairs that I would like. Like you can go very, very, very heavy with it, like accidentally, like I'm pressing quite hard, I guess. But the issue with this tinted pen is that you don't always get the same exact brow stroke, if that makes sense. Like it's very, very delicate, or not delicate. What's the word I'm looking for? Finicky, very inconsistent, okay? So sometimes I'll start really, really well with this one, but because this does take a very steady hand, and I myself do not have the steadiest of hands, I can go kind of heavy accidentally on certain parts of the brow, which is why I will use it. I like it. If you're looking to save some bucks, this one is definitely the way to go. It just does take a very steady hand, because you can get really heavy-handed with this kind of fast. Now, instead of the NYX brow pen, I've been using the Urban Decay Brow Blade. This guy is really good. It is very, very good. You get, of course, it's dual-ended, so you get a brow pen. This is a brow pen side, which looks like this. It's perfect for mimicking brow hairs along the brow. And you also get a brow pencil side. And this, I believe, is waterproof. Yes, you get a waterproof pencil side, which is quite small. So it also can be used to mimic brow hairs along the brow. Really, really like both sides, but I do tend to use the brow pen side a lot more. And I will show you why. So this is what you get with this brow pen. So you see it more consistency, and even if I do press a little bit harder, it's not so harsh. I guess you have more room for error. So you don't have to be super precise every single stroke or with every single stroke. The learning curve, you have to have it there. Like you're still going to go through a little bit of a learning curve with this, but it's just much more forgiving. So you don't have to completely wipe or completely start over. You could just keep going, and it gets better and better the more that you do it. So I always start here along the front of the brow, and I want to start at the base. So I kind of already know what my brow shape is going to be. That's also a big thing, is just knowing what direction you're going to take this in, especially for someone like me. Like if you have some sparse areas, you want to know where you're going to be placing those like hair-like strokes along the brow kind of ahead of time, because it can get quite like too thick or you just kind of want to know how you're going to do it, how you want your brows to be shaped before you go into it. Especially if you're going to be using the NYX brow pen, because that one, like I said, is just not as forgiving as this one. So we're going to start off here along the front and just dragging, drag, 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 and drag. You see already very, very soft, looks a lot more natural than the NYX one does, in my opinion. And then I go back and just kind of add a few more lighter strokes, just so that it all blends and it looks a little bit more like hair rather than just little stripes along the front of my brow. And then of course, just fill it in down here where there's the sparse areas that I deal with. So it's all about keeping a steady hand. I always rest my pinky on my face, and that also helps to steady out my hand a bit. Keep the strokes very, very light and in the same direction as all of your other brow hairs. On the top, same thing. Go toward the rest of the brow hairs. If you do need to blend, which I will need to blend, I'll show you how to do that. But then just keep going throughout. Once you get to the tail end of it, that's when I like to just again, press and drag, press and drag, press and drag, press and drag. And you're going to curve it, of course, going downward. And I do that along the back side also. Just like that. They look a lot softer than they otherwise would because the pen is so nice and light. Like I said, it's just about learning how much or how little to press on the pen, but this one, in my opinion, is a lot more forgiving, which is why I use it. Now, if you ever feel like, okay, I don't love that these strokes don't look so soft and therefore look drawn on, all you have to do, really, is just get a spoolie. I'm going to be using the other side of my Anastasia brow pencil, and you just run it very lightly up your brow, like in the same direction of the hair. And you're just going to take the spoolie side and just kind of glide it very lightly along the areas that you feel need a little bit of blending. And if I ever feel like, okay, I like the way that that looks, but I want it filled a little bit more, that's when I'll go in with the pencil side. And what I do with the pencil side is I flatten it against the lid. So just take it, press it slightly. And this is gonna give me a very sharp edge along the pencil. See that? So now, yes, it's circular, but it's also flat. And so when I angle it sideways against the brow, it's going to create more hair-like strokes. So instead of filling it in, you're creating just more hair-like strokes along the side, which to me makes it look a lot more natural, like that. And there you have it. This is the before, very sparse, pretty thin looking. And this is the after, a fuller, softer, more natural looking brow. And that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this little how-to on the brows and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. I love you guys so much. Whenever you guys take the time to do any of those things, it really helps out the channel. It helps me out here with the algorithm, all right? And it helps me reach more viewers. So thank you all so much for taking the time to do any of that. Also, don't forget to follow me over on Instagram, where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.